Hey, it's Just.Lyle, and today I'm reviewing Central Intelligence, starring Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, directed by the man who directed Dodgeball and We Are the Millers. So, Central Intelligence, it starts out in high school with Kevin Hart, and he's like the popular kid, and The Rock, his character, Dwayne Johnson, is Uh, he's like the fat kid, and everybody picks on him. Take him, he's in the shower, and they throw him into the gym in the middle of an assembly. And obviously, it fucking fucks with him and scars him. And the only person who helps him is Kevin Hart's character because he's nice. And I'll say like I like The Rock. I'm a big fan of The Rock. I'll watch him in anything. He's always good, always super charismatic. I'm not the biggest fan of Kevin Hart. He I don't hate him. He just kind of like wears on you after a while, and he's a little much. And in this, he was good. He was way like less annoying. So this is probably the most I've liked Kevin Hart in a lot of things. I think his stand-up's really good, but movie wise, it's definitely the best he's been. He's also he kind of plays like the straight guy. He does have some comedic moments, but he's not trying to make every second like, oh, it's hey, joke, hey, joke. That's more The Rock. The Rock, his character is more of like the comedic character, but he's also when he comes back in the future, Kevin Hart, after being voted in high school to be the most likely to succeed, is an accountant and he's kind of just living his life. Like he married his high school sweetheart, and now he's just like doing his job, and he's kind of unhappy, and the people he works with are fucking idiots, and he's like kind of above them, but not really. He just kind of doesn't give a shit. So when Dwayne Johnson's character shows back up, go for drinks, and it's like revealed that Dwayne Johnson's character is like a badass CIA guy, and he like beats the shit out of some dudes, but he's kind of he acts insane. He basically spent 20 years working out and acting like Kevin Hart's character would have in high school, and he basically tried to become his own version of Kevin Hart's character. Uh, so he just says a bunch of crazy shit and acts all weird. Uh, so he shows back up and kind of asks him like, "Hey, help me out with this thing I'm working on." It's really vague, and they kind of keep it pretty vague for the first like half of the movie. Basically, The Rock needs Kevin Hart to help him like get these numbers in order to find out who this like bad guy is. Uh, and track him down and figure it all out. And then the CIA comes in, and the head CIA lady uh, starts saying that The Rock is a bad guy and that he killed his partner and he actually stole like the numbers that they're trying to get. And he's the guy, and he's tricking Kevin Hart's character, and they do a really good job. There was a while where it was like 40 minutes where I was pretty sure The Rock was the bad guy and that he was just fucking with Kevin Hart's character. Uh, and I was positive because like The Rock is so good at just being like this insane guy, and they show every once in a while they show his thoughts kind of or like his mindset, and they do it pretty good. Like it'll be like in the background, or he'll see a reflection, but the whole reflection will be like people bullying him and like his past, and he clearly has he hasn't gotten over it. And it kind of drives him. So I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty good. It's a well shot movie. Looks great. The action was a little quick, cutty. Like there's a lot of cuts and shaky cam a lot. So that could have been better. Like it could have been done better, especially when you got fucking The Rock. He's like Mr. Action Man, but it didn't cut from away from the movie. The movie's also not laugh out loud funny. Like it's not. There's not big laughs or all this, but it's consistently entertaining. Like it is funny, but it's more of just like a grin. Like you're just watching with a huge grin on your face, and uh, like everything The Rock does is fucking hilarious. He just keeps showing up, kind of like he shows up like the cable guy, and he's just like Kevin Hart goes to a psychiatrist, and it's The Rock, and that was great. The movie also has like a lot of references to other movies. where it'll be like, oh, you're like Joe Pesci in Casino, or oh, it's like 16 Candles. It happened a lot. It started happening so much that I started paying attention to it and like being like, there it is again. There's another one. There's another reference. There's another reference. There's another reference, and it kind of felt it's fine, and I don't have a problem with it, but it did kind of feel lazy at a point. Like, oh yeah, I like Casino. Oh yeah, it is kind of like that. You could do that, but I felt like they did a lot. Aaron Paul, he shows up in this as a cameo. He plays The Rock's partner, and he was great. Aaron Paul, I always like him and stuff. Jason Bateman, he also shows up as the bully who bullied The Rock. And I usually don't like Jason Bateman. Like, I don't hate him. He was great in Smoking Aces. That's like the peak for him. And he's been in a couple other things. Like, I thought he was fine. I think it's Extract. But he was good as this bully. Like, he comes out and he apologizes to Rock, and you think he's like grown up, and he realizes that he's like fucked up the Rock, and he's like fucked up this kid's life. And then no, he just turns out he's still the same fucking huge prick. So there was a pretty funny moment at the end, the final standoff where it's like three groups uh, trying to figure out who is actually like the bad guy, and I thought that was fucking genius. Everybody involved was that was great. Dialogue was really simple, but it was really funny. This is the most I've enjoyed Kevin Hart, but he does a few times slip into Kevin Hart, where he's yelling and he's just loud. But I didn't have a problem with it because it wasn't very much of the movie. It was probably only two, three scenes. And then he'd just go back to being the character. I know he's doing Jumanji remake, and I was kind of skeptical before seeing this movie, but now I feel a little confident, a little more sure that he can pull it off. There was a couple moments I like the stuff with The Rock and Kevin Hart where they're friends. Like it's nice to see like real moments between the two characters where you're like, oh yeah, like they are friends. So overall, I think I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. I had fairly low expectations. I know that when it came out, people were giving it pretty fair reviews, and it was kind of like it was definitely more positive than negative. And what people weren't saying it was like a masterpiece, but that it was a good watch. And I totally agree. I think it's worth watching. But yeah, 7 out of 10 is what I give it. Uh, I look forward to seeing more of these two. I definitely was skeptical of them, but seeing this gives me more hope for their projects to come. So check it out. Fucking The Rock, great. It's got a great credit blooper reel, like kind of like the Rush Hour movies do, where you just see that they're having fun. Like Kevin Hart and The Rock definitely had a good time making this movie, and that helps. It helps knowing that the actors in it uh, actually like one another and had fun making the movie. Uh, so yeah, check it out. 7 out of 10. Feel free to like this video or subscribe or view it. That would be great. All right. See ya.